Wide Web, I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality with the best hair.
Well, this is a nice change of pace, don't you think?
You're talking about I say that every episode.
No, well, what I was referring to is I thought you were wanting to do every single episode in Shinosaka.
He was. I set fire to the hotel towels. Thank me later.
No, I just wanted to get out, see Japan, and maybe a few legs.
He's working on getting deported on his own. Were my skills really needed in this situation, Creepy?
We'll discuss it later.
That out of the way, week 3 of Gamerathon 3 is here, and with it, Gamera vs. the Deep Sea Monster Zigra. This was, again, released 1 year after the previous entry. However, this would be the last Gamera film for several years.
So, either they were trying to make sure it was good, or it was so terrible that it sank the monster's reputation down to the bottom of the ocean and he'd had to rest there until it recovered.
Just wait until Decker has to deal with that problem. It'll happen soon.
Anyway, Gamera vs. Zigra sought to be at least a unique entry in the series, focusing heavily on commercializing an attraction with Seaworld.
Seaworld? Seriously? The World's Fair was bad enough. It's like going from hosting The Tonight Show to bingo night.
Other than promoting oceanic life trapped in tiny jars of saltwater being forced to dance for our pleasure, the film digs heavily into themes about pollution with a Save the Earth vibe. In that sense, it feels more like a Heisei Gamera film than one from the Showa era. Which I hope means we get to see Gamera ravage the countryside and destroy half of Japan. In the name of recycling, of course.
Well, Japan is big on environmental awareness.
Great. With that in mind, let's take a look at Gamera vs. the Deep Sea Monster Zigra, and...
Why do you keep saying that? The DVD just says Gamera vs. Zigra.
I found one listing somewhere that had that big-ass title. I just love saying it. Baka. Our story begins on the moon. Evidently, Japan really kicked ass in the late 90s and built a moon base well before Newt Gingrich got a chance to. So, kudos to that.
Does this mean that Gamera is going to be sent to fight the monsters on the moon? Because that would be awesome.
Yes, it would. Now, would either of you let me know where the deep sea from the title is located on in the moon?
They're making one? From the ruins of...
It's okay, Decker. There will be no undersea moon battle. We'll live.
The alien ship hits the moon rover with an effects filter before leaving. This brings us to Kamigawa Seaworld and our introductions of the main players of this story, 2 best friends and fathers and scientists plus their children.
Seems like a lose-lose situation.
Again, the subtitles don't seem to be completely right, and in some cases are completely wrong.
Then again, the mother may mean that sentiment exactly, as she compares her son unfavorably to marine life. Of course, the movie can't seem to tell the difference between a dolphin and an orca.
Again, I don't have this fetish, so we can move on.
Again, why does your brain go there so quickly?
It didn't. I said I don't. I don't!
Do you realize how much fan art of Echo the Dolphin I've found on your laptop since we've been here?
Moving on, the movie finishes its high-budget commercial for SeaWorld, showcasing attractions children everywhere want to see.
どうしてもこのイルカを解剖なさるんですか？ああ、死因を突き止めて他の動物たちの健康を守ってやるのが。
Wow! I don't remember that part of the tour.
It seems stereotypical for Japanese people to enjoy the sight of dissecting dolphins. But they were the ones that put it in this movie!
That isn't a guarantee, mind you. I'm pretty sure most people living in Tokyo wouldn't want to see their city demolished by giant monsters.
While the children enjoy the displays, their fathers are off studying the state of the ocean. It's pretty much the characters complaining a lot about the audience before forgetting to take that into account for their own actions.
今日はうちの女房ご自慢のフルーツジュースなんだよ。こちらは清子さん自慢のハンバーグサンドだよ。おー。
I'm having genetically handicapped bee populations.
My wife packed deforestation.
When they go to indulge in their short-sightedness, they find that the food is already gone. It turns out their children stowed away on the boat, and figured if that wasn't enough to get them in trouble, they may as well steal their parents' lunch to boot.
なんでボートに乗っちゃいかんっていつも言ってるじゃないか。ヘレン、家へ帰ったらお尻を引っ叩いてあげるから。あ、お父さん。
It's when I beat your ass!
I believe he was referring to the giant candy bowl falling out of the sky.
Looks more like space fruitcake to me.
The group decides to head out and investigate, bringing their children along as they are qualified by virtue of nepotism. Unfortunately for them, their boat receives the same video effects filter treatment the Moon Rover did earlier. This results in everyone finding themselves at the Fruity Tricks disco.
あの人は宇宙人なのよ。お前たちテレビの見過ぎだよ。
I know a song about doing a woman from space.
Why would you What?
What? I do have that fetish.
Oh, we're free to bring them up now, because I've got a list here I'm sure your subscribers will be more than happy to listen to. One for each time you forget about the plot in favor of space jokes.
No, that's all right. Let's just watch the movie. This is Space Babe, Woman X, played by Aiko Yanami. She informs the group that they have been instantaneously teleported 480 light years from Earth to have a surprise meeting. I have to admire this. In Gamera vs. Zigra, the aliens don't fuck around and make it very damn clear from the get-go that they have evil intentions, as she completely annihilates Tokyo in a superquake. Off-screen.
Which means we don't get to see Tokyo Tower get destroyed.
That count?
We didn't get to see it actually happen. That cheapens the experience.
It's the little things in mass destruction.
Chalk up their motivations to eco-terrorism as she explains while the Zigra race screwed up their own planet's oceans from technological progress, they scanned the universe looking for another suitable planet to inhabit. Ignoring huge ocean worlds like Europa, as there's no Tokyo Tower to destroy there, they settled on Earth, but need to put mankind in its place before we also make the oceans uninhabitable.
ジグラ星人の文明に地球人が抵抗しても無駄である。
Which you haven't done yet, making this show of power resulting in the deaths of millions kinda cruel and pointless.
She did ask for permission first, after she had already killed all of those people, so we're aligning.
Strangely, the men are aghast at this turn of events, so she calms them with a snap of her fingers and a glimmer in her eye. The kids realize she can only do that if they look her in the eye, so they run and accidentally find out that their random collection of Christmas lights causes her to stop doing things when they touch it.
How?
I never got that either.
It's the Gizmo Deck approach. Push buttons at random.
The children also remember which button was used to transport them, even though they never saw that part. Unfortunately, their fathers won't come too, and the kids can't seem to get the boat's motor started. Upset at this affront to their authority, Zigra makes a request of their servant.
You're right. These aliens do establish their evil intentions very quickly.
探し出すよりも日本人のすべてを殺した方が手っ取り早いと思いますが。
And they're racist.
Not to mention stupidly inefficient.
Zigra corrects her not in that it's faster to kill 2 rather than 2 million, but rather he's going to want to eat later, and therefore kill only the 2 kids as he will need people to feed on. And strangely enough, freeze drying really doesn't work underwater.
Not to mention the fact that there's already enough salt in food today as it is.
The aliens must have shit short-term memory, though, as when the kids spot a ship that might be able to rescue them, Zigra blows it the fuck up, killing everyone on board, but not the 2 kids who would have been, and then turns back just before killing the children, failing at that too.
Dude, I'm fairly certain that the giant gumball machine is very hard to steer.
Or take seriously.
Zigra comes back for a second go, but what's that? Gamera has decided to finally show up.
He was there earlier when the people got kidnapped.
Yeah, but didn't no effect on plot.
And you complain that we don't respect the turtle enough.
Since it's too early in the film for our big monster brawl, Gamera scoops the sailboat up and flies off with them, landing in a safe area as softly as a 200-ton boulder. This might have done some damage, sadly enough, as the kids suddenly believe they've gone back in time.
Mind you, with Geico Insurance cavemen kicking around, it's easy enough to make that mistake.
I suppose. When I went to the bathroom earlier, I thought I accidentally walked through a portal of the year 2050.
The man provides them with the help they need, letting them know they're on an island near Seaworld and perfectly safe. Once they bring their unconscious parents to everyone's attention and mention this has something to do with the hostile alien Zigra, the self-defense force gets involved.
ジグラ星人の特殊能力などは
特殊能力って何？
つまりだね、 他の人にはできないようないろんなこと。
Other than the brainwashing, of course, which we've already seen that.
Super shiny silver space lingerie.
Cross-dressing.
No.
Come on, that one was kind of obvious. Besides, this was just in your size.
The children are completely useless, instead asking for food and drink. The science types, on the other hand, have discovered that while the unconscious men are not dead, their brainwaves are completely different than that of a human.
Sounds like someone I know.
He was talking about you, right? Anyway, the Self-Defense Force sends in an air squadron to attack. They're, undersea targets. Predictably, they are annihilated in short order. Elsewhere, the alien woman has made it to shore and decided to participate in the Earth custom of Grand Theft Bikini.
If she was gonna pull the Terminator, give me your clothes, couldn't she have done it to someone who was, I don't know, actually wearing some?
I'm not complaining.
The bikini does its job of helping the alien spacewoman catch an easy ride to Seaworld. She's now realizing this particular outfit is bringing her an awful lot of attention, though, so opts for something more low-key.
Damn it!
Toe-sucking.
Really? Yeah.
Clean toes.
Spacewoman tracks down the two kids, seeing them as a bigger threat than the Self-Defense Force. Unfortunately for her and Zigra, however, she is struck by sudden henchman incompetence syndrome. This results not in the capture or death, or even much frightening of two kids, but a wacky chase scene around Seaworld.
And she can't even keep up with them.
Well, it doesn't help that she stole the high-heel shoes before beginning the chase.
Or never thinks to just take them off.
They eventually lose her by tricking her to go into a Ferris wheel before activating the ride, leaving her to snap her hypnotic fingers in frustration. Gamera, on the other hand, tracks the deep-sea monster Zigra down in the deep sea. This results in him trying to crack open the bag of Tutti Fruttis until he learns that it doesn't contain sweet, sweet fruity treats, but instead... Instant kaiju! Just add water.
Is there any explanation given for as to why he became humongous?
その上、地球の海の水圧が私の体は非常に巨大化してしまった。
Oh, okay. That would kill him.
Well, considering they've already established that his species survives by feeding off of life living on land, wouldn't the lack of water pressure from being above water kind of cause that same problem? Anyway, the fight between Gamera and Zigra is entertaining enough, though a bit strange in more ways than one. For instance, breathing fire underwater, and the fact that when becoming a quite literal fish out of water, Zigra somehow manages to Darwin up a couple of legs that quite jarringly modify his appearance.
And Gamera is dead again.
No. He's not dead. That was another one of those stupid mind hypno brainwave things. But point is, not dead.
Got it. Not dead. Just not moving. And floating upside down in the ocean.
Exactly!
Having won, Zigra performs a victory circle and issues an ultimatum to the Earth's forces.
私は復讐のために地球人類を撲滅する。この美しい海をお前たちのようなこの美しい海は私のように美しい姿の生物が
That's an ultimatum?
Essentially, do as I say.
Okay, so stay ugly and die?
I get the feeling you've heard that more than a few times yourself, Decker.
However, there is some progress on the hypnotized victims. It turns out they maintain spatial awareness, which leads the scientists to believe that their brains are working in the same way a dolphin's is, and therefore they might have a way to cure them.
Screaming bad acting into a microphone, because that's logical.
You mean to tell me nobody had tried screaming at them before now?
Back on the bad set of events, Space Woman has managed to get her hands on the children, and is so determined to kill them, she is about to sacrifice herself so that all three of them will drown.
But the day is saved, once again, by bad acting.
Shit, you mean that's all I have to do to get everyone's attention? Where's my phone?
Water sports.
No! God, what the hell is wrong with you? Where the hell did you get that from?
Your laptop, remember?
Well, someone else has to have been using it then.
So, I've been using the laptop you've kept under lock and key by your side this whole time?
Yes. As her own hypnosis has been broken, we learn that Space Woman is not a space woman, but in fact a moon woman, one of Japan's moon women, kidnapped and brainwashed in the movie's opening scene. Of course, that doesn't help them defeat Zigra, so the kids come up with a brilliant plan. Wake up Gamera!
Gee, where have I seen this before?
Gamera vs. Virus, Gamera vs. Zigra, there might be some more.
What are you talking about? He's upside down in the ocean. It's totally different.
You're gonna love Gamera Super Monster then.
The plan to revive Gamera involves lowering a man pod to his head and then screaming at him in a microphone. Unfortunately, this doesn't seem to work, and we find out the children stowed away in the pod like assholes, right when Zigra shows up and plays a random game of kick the can. Let's take some time to lie to the kids as we wait to be horribly murdered.
Could you at least be better at lying while you were taking your last breaths?
In a last-ditch effort, the scientists turn on the pod's lights, hoping to blind Zigra. It works, giving Gamera enough time to wake up.
Through sheer fucking luck.
Indeed.
When Gamera arrives, it appears that Zigra has fallen asleep, so Gamera tosses a rock at him to test this theory.
So I guess Zigra is asleep.
He's a pretty fucking deep sleeper if you ask me. I mean, I usually wake up when someone chucks a boulder at me.
What do you mean, usually?
Stealing the pot after this and dropping it off a safe distance away, Gamera returns to the sea to battle the monster. Using his newfound countermeasures of remembering to actually dodge attacks, Gamera then learns Zigra's weakness.
I still don't know what to say to that.
It's music. You're supposed to dance to it.
You had to say that.
Gamera, please, stop. You're embarrassing us.
I think it's cute.
Forget it's even there. Gamera takes this guy out with super powerful fire breath. Interesting, as it's the only Showa monster that has been killed with a basic attack. And boy does Zigra burn. Like, a lot. And our story comes to a close with Gamera flying away, while the children wave and shout, "Sayonara, Gamera!"
They all do. Well, almost.
It's tradition.
Or predictability.
Nevertheless, that was Gamera versus the deep sea monster Zigra.
It was... okay?
While I like the concepts of a water-based Gamera movie and enjoyed the design of Zigra, I have to say that this didn't come off like the most creative of works. Aside from being very heavily eco-focused, which was still a bit of a rarity at the time, its basic plot structure is par for the course for this genre, with a hint of Seaworld sponsorship thrown in for good measure.
The child actors are, well, not great, but not terrible either. Their weak point lies in that they don't do much. In the previous film covered, we got to see the child characters take action and do things for themselves without waiting around for adults. Our protagonists in this movie did little but wait around. That being said, the design for Zigra was pretty impressive and unique in its way. I might have enjoyed the movie more if the characters had been more active in it.
My main issue with the characters are that they are mostly forgettable. There are a few traits sprinkled here and there, but not only do the kids come off very shallow, but the adult characters feel like they lack depth as well, at least compared to previous films in this series. The character I liked the most was Space Lady Silver Leotard, and no, not because of that, though it didn't hurt. She had the least known about her throughout the movie, but came off feeling more complex due to her simply not being a scientist or a kid.
While Gamera vs. Zigra isn't a bad film, it misses the mark in a very obvious way. The parts that are good are worth watching, but a lot of the movie feels like a long stretch of exposition that could have been trimmed down a great deal. Nevertheless, I feel that Gamera vs. Zigra deserves at least 2 flying fruit bowls of apocalyptic doom out of 5.
I feel like the movie does deserve a little better than that. Yes, the characters were shallow and forgettable, and the most interesting one being the villain, but there's still quality to this movie. The battles, while far between, I feel felt better choreographed than the previous 2 films. The production quality also wasn't terrible, if not super high budget. I'd say Gamera vs. Zigra comes in at 3 hypnotized bikini ladies out of 5. A lot of fans actually consider it the last real Showa-era Gamera film. It's like they'd never heard of Super Monster.
No, Decker. They've heard of it. They just prefer to forget.
Thank you all for watching. I've been Dr. Shado. And remember, the next time Gamera shows up to roast a giant rhinoceros shark, bring plenty of tartar sauce.
Are you sure you don't mean lubricant?
You be quiet!
Good night, everybody.